I got to find my performance.
Yes, yes.
Welcome, everybody. Derek here. I'm happy to be joined by Angie Kalen. I said that right.
Yes.
For a little interview. So, Angie, let me tell you about what I'm doing. So, in case some people haven't understood, I'm going through like this really profound life change right now. And my vision forward is to do like life coaching type of work as a healer and using the performing arts as a way of trying to set up a process of a way of teaching to help people is going to be individualized, move forward and work through whatever issues they're going to be working through. And I'm using the various performing arts that because they became a very significant part in my transition, like acting and dancing and whatever. So when I talk to people, I'm talking to people who I've encountered during that portion of my transition, and that I've just enjoyed talking to, enjoyed working with, and I want to get your story and how, we're talking specifically acting, but it doesn't have to be, because I know after talking with you, you have some theater background,
Yes.
like theater management, that type of thing. So let's start there.
Okay. Basically, I got into sort of the entertainment industry when I was 14. I began modeling just locally in Denver. I had a very consistent, though, work. I got a lot of work in Denver. And when I modeled through college. And when I graduated from college, or just right before I graduated, I realized I was just sort of bored with modeling. I wanted to try something else. I was just ready to do something different. And it took a year or two before I had an opportunity with a group that I was working with. They were doing a production. They wanted to have, they called it a skit. They wanted to have a skit. And so they asked me to write it. And I was a good writer. I knew that I was, like, always through my life, but I had never written a script or anything like that. So I went for it. I started co-writing with someone else, and it just wasn't her thing. So I ended up taking it from, again, a skit to this 2-hour musical that it became. And that was it. I was hooked after that. And they had me continue to come back for about 15 years. I wrote for them, and we had some really good, large productions for what we were doing. And it was a great safe space for me to develop and make mistakes and build relationships and understand everything that went together to make a live performance. And during that time, I was also doing dance shows. I was doing some original stage productions told through dance, very minimal dialogue. And that was a nice compliment. It really developed that side of myself, because I was always a dancer, just self-trained. When I was young, I just danced all the time, even though I wasn't in ballet or anything like that specifically. So after several years of doing theater, I was ready to transition into on-camera work. And when you're talking about kind of like the spiritual aspect of, I don't know, I see it as like our purpose in life, how it is laid out for us. I feel like what happened to me was one person who is a very accomplished actor made a recommendation to me that, of course you can act. And he was actually talking about my daughter, and the path that came because of that. It was like the first domino that just fell down, and everything else fell into place. I had then an agent, and I was getting on-camera training, and I was getting jobs, and it became something where because I had my own healing, a lot of things happened at the same time. In my past, I had a lot of things to heal from, and the arts have absolutely contributed to my growth in that area. And in fact, just earlier this week, I was working with my coach, and he was talking about how I've transformed as a person since he's known me. And it's really touching because I feel myself growing and, like I said, healing. And it's amazing when other people see it too, that you're not the same person that you were. You know, the way you stand is different, the way you project is different, the things that you believe that you can do are different. And I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I would want it for anyone, you know, if that makes sense.
No, I'm right with you. Thank you for sharing. I mean, I didn't know you were a dancer.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I did. I was trained in ballroom dance, but not like ballroom competition dance.
Right.
It was more
Styles.
theatrical.
Oh,
Exactly.
theatrical,
But
yeah.
work.
So did you have a style of dance that you liked? Like waltz,
I
rumba, cha-cha,
I definitely like the rhythm, you know, Latin
rhythm
dance.
versus the smooth?
I do, yeah. I mean, smooth is great too. I
Yeah.
mean, I've had a lot of fun with waltz and things like that, but rhythm dances are just my favorite because I did live in Costa Rica for a while and I speak Spanish, and so definitely
We have a
saw.
lot of similarities. I mean, my Spanish is horrible, but I lived in Mexico City for a while.
Oh, great!
Our paths crossed at Babcock Studios. So what prompted you to walk into that door?
I was looking for an adult coach, and I had been to other training facilities in Denver, and I found that the level I wanted to get to, those places didn't have that caliber of student there.
Mhm.
So I knew I wasn't going to get there.
Right.
So I was looking around, and my agent had, you know, listed people who they kind of recommend working with, and there was a variety. And I checked out the website for Babcock Studios, and I thought, he's made it. He knows how to make it.
Mm-hmm.
He knows, and if he knows how to coach, then this is great. And so when I met him, I could see that he did have a teacher's heart, and that he cares about the whole artist, right? The whole person. And I think that's so important in performing arts, because you're giving yourself, it's so vulnerable, and you're giving
very vulnerable. Yeah.
And you're giving all of yourself to this thing, and you're taking risks, and someone who can hold that space for you and make it safe and grow you, you know, where you can receive the comments and the feedback, knowing that it's for your good because this person, you know, cares for you and who you are. Those were things that were important, and I sensed that in Todd. So that was an easy decision.
Yeah, because I remember, so he does that interview process.
Yes.
Part of that is, I think, an assessment, type of thing. It was like, is that individual ready for the type of work that he's going to be doing with you?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I went in there, I remember the interview process. I mean, we were just like this, having a conversation and just back and forth, I walked in originally to help me with, I used it as because in my old former life as a job, doing presentations, I wanted to be more articulate. I wanted to be, you just have a stage presence when I'm doing like presentations, and learning that stage presence. And at the same time, I was also doing dancing, same type of thing. I was really getting into competitive type ballroom dancing, and I wanted to, how can I take my performance to the next level? And one of that was, I needed to be able to connect with the emotions that I have with the music, and then deliver a performance.
And I love what you're saying about that, because it's like being connected. You have to be connected if you're singing, to the, music and the words that you're singing. If you're dancing, all the aspects of the arts, you have to be connected, because people will see if you're not, and then they don't believe you, and then it doesn't do it.
So in fact, that's that's the primary concept of the teachings that I'm developing, is reconnecting, reconnecting yourself, reconnecting just everything, every aspect of your life, and using the performing arts to help you do that. So when I say performing arts, writing, it could be painting, it could be dancing, it could be acting. It's all going to be dependent upon the individual and what they are ready for at that time.
And I think that's what we were made for, to create. You know, it, I believe in a creator. And so I believe that we are creative as a result, like a reflection of that. And so much of our purpose is what we produce to give back to other people, because we have someone that we can touch, someone who needs to hear what we're saying, either in terms of like being educated, like they didn't know that, it creates empathy, or someone who's like, someone understands what I've been through, you know. And that I feel like I like what you're talking about with being connected, because there are parts of myself, because of my life before, that I shut down or I didn't allow to develop. And when you're walking around like that, you're really not a whole person, because you have this big aspect of, there are all these parts of us as human beings that we are given just by being alive. And if they're not activated, we're missing something, you know. And I think that impacts the way that we react to situations, the way that we interact with other people, the way we take things, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think that's brilliant what you're doing.
Yeah, and the way that, I mean, just the way you perceive the world around you.
Yeah.
Like colors, you know, taking the small moments, you know, like leisurely strolls. Like for me, one of the things that I really value about like my dance experience is it helps me connect back again with not only my body, but with the ground.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes. And really having your balance, like your core strength, and, you know, putting the weight where it needs to be. Is, yeah.
So
Excellent.
the health, yeah, exactly. And, you know, one of the what have you ever taken any martial arts?
I did. Yes. I took jujitsu.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, there's a lot of common language that we can use to discuss this. Then,
Yeah.
So in martial arts, you know, like with special jujitsu, one of the primary concepts is, you know, using energy to your advantage, right?
Mhm.
You know, so if somebody attacks you, you're using their energy and redirecting it.
Yes.
But one of the things I studied kung fu for a bit.
Oh,
And
nice.
what they want is like a balance. They always want you balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, center of gravity, that type of thing.
Yes.
Which I've always liked, you know, that type of thing when I was walking around. What dance taught me though is how to be off balance gracefully.
Yes. Which is life. Don't we get off balance, you know? And we need to have grace. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's the first thing, you know, like you got to put all your weight on this foot. Yeah. It was like, but I want them on both. It's like, that's not, yeah, that's the, you know, well, we're teaching you how to move gracefully while being off balance. And that's what I like about dance.
Do you do any grounding exercises in the morning? For example, going outside barefoot or?
I haven't yet, no. And any ideas, that'd be great. I'd love to hear those.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about, so one of the things I've been trying to think about is I have it's like Tibetan, I forget what they call them, bowl, you know, that you can chime.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to start incorporating that, you know, in the morning and at night to help ground me in the morning and help ground me at night, as a way to just, you know, because I don't know, I like bell ringing as a sound.
Yes.
So it's going to work for me. That's my process, you know, that type of stuff. But at the same time, like if you notice cats, I don't know, are you a cat person, dog person? I can't remember. Did you have a dog?
I have 2 dogs.
Okay.
And I'm allergic to cats, so.
Oh yeah. So I mean, growing up, I had a cat, right? So, but one thing you notice when they get done sleeping, what's the first thing they do is they do a stretch.
Yes.
So, you know, I was like, maybe I need to find that process in the morning as soon as I wake up. What's that stretch? And then ground myself, that type of stuff. Is it yoga? Is it, you know, do I create my own movement? That's the type of stuff.
I'm sure you could find even a simple yoga flow that could be really cool, kind of like a sun salutation or something like that, that might give you inspiration, you know, get you doing something and then allow you to kind of build off of that.
Exactly. You get what I'm trying to say.
I totally do. Yes.
That's great. Yes. So I'm trying to bring this back to you.
Oh, great. Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, so you got something coming up in Wyoming, a shoot, right? You excited about that?
I am excited about that. It's going to be a really fun project. I'm one of the adult cast members, and it's a teen heist film that is also a teaching film. So the director is has chosen some students to join his cast and crew. So, for example, some people are going to be learning to direct. They'll be working closely with the director, watching that. And these are, all kids under 18, learning to DP, learning to run sound or lighting. So you have professionals on set who are sort of mentoring the kids. So, so I'll be a mentor as well as the quirky theater teacher, which is a role I just love, being kind of that supporting character.
That sounds great. I mean, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so it's nice to be able to contribute something, give back, and do the work. It's kind of right.
Yeah, and build on your craft and your your instrument.
Exactly, and share with people who are hungry to learn, and they just don't know. It just takes time to develop. So it's nice to share.
So where in Wyoming are they shooting?
Cheyenne.
Oh, is it in Cheyenne?
Mm-hmm. I've been there. Not far, Yeah,
2 hours up. Yeah.
Exactly. So
are you going to be staying there? Are you going to be doing the commute, or how's that going to work for you?
There. Yes, they have a house for me.
For
3 weeks. Mm-hmm.
That's nice. So that's good. So you're going to be comfortable up there. You do your process.
Exactly, because that has been something where it's like I will need just a bedroom. You know what I mean? Like I need a place I can go quietly.
Your creative space. That's what I'm calling things, like my creative space.
Exactly. Yes. And time, like you were talking about, sleeping, enough time to sleep and be quiet, and also just having really appropriate self-care, because it's demanding being, away from home and being on set and being around a lot of people you're not used to being around. They're great, but it's like a new situation all the way around. So just implementing things that I know, taking my favorite things with me, so that, like you're saying, I'm comfortable, so that I can be loose in my role that I have. So
that's cool. It's fun. Sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm really thankful for the opportunity to do it. It's lovely.
That's great. It sounds like a great project.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited.
And that's going. So you said you're going to be back for Halloween. Now, here's an interesting question then for you.
Yes.
What type of COVID-19 is that? Protocols that are going to be in place, is that going to hamstring some of your creative process?
Well, I've done 2 other projects of my own over the last couple of weeks where we've tried to hold to the COVID protocols as much as we could. So in terms of everyone on set wears a mask unless they're the actors, and we try to keep 6 feet away. There were points where, I hugged my scene partner, and we have, just things in place as best we can, or different, learning how to have like a romantic type of scene, to portray that and do it, when you're in a pandemic. So I had seen that for some kissing scenes, for like large Hollywood productions, they like use mouthwash for this amount of time, and they do all this other stuff. And, it's all stuff you learn as you go. So, just trying to be as creative as possible with telling the story. And that's been actually really fun too, because some things you're going to do that like you would traditionally do, and other things you can creatively do to make it look like something that it's not. You know what I mean? To give the illusion, which is so fun about on camera or stage productions too. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, we're all learning how to do what we want to do in this pandemic era. So interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically everybody wearing masks unless you're on set and doing what you need to do, on set, trying to keep it cool, as much as possible.
Yeah, and right. I like the fact that you mentioned the storytelling aspect, while you're trying to tell the story at the same time while being. So it's going to be a challenge. I mean, I think Hollywood's going to have some issues,
right,
that they need to work through. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. I think it's just a great time. Anytime there are challenges, it also gives you time to be more innovative. And I think that obviously I have a lot of room to be more innovative, but yeah, I just think it's fun. It's just another layer of the craft, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is another layer. I like the way you put that.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I think that's all the time I have today. So I'm going to end this conversation. So thank you, Angie, for sharing.
Dare you? What do you want from me?
Everything you promised. That look you gave her, mine. That house you live in, mine. That ring that you're gonna get down on one knee to give her,